Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Dallas Mavericks. Why would this be a terrible idea for both Dallas and Giannis? Let's start the video. This past week, there's been a strong rumor that Giannis Antetokounmpo might join the Mavs, turning Dallas into a superstar franchise with Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The plan is for Giannis to join Dallas as a free agent after his contract ends, without any trade deals. Giannis's condition is that if the Bucks can't contend, he'd leave. This is problematic because Giannis is one of the top 5 or 6 players in the league. In fact, in a better situation, he's easily top 3, just behind Embiid and Jokic. But it's worth noting that since Damian Lillard joined, the Bucks have actually gotten worse. It's not just about getting a better player. Lillard may be better than Jrue Holiday on paper. Sometimes teams work better with specific strategies and players who complement each other well. It's like trying to have Allen Iverson and Kyrie Irving on the same team and expecting it to work. That'd be tough to make work because they're two players with very similar playing styles. While Lillard isn't the same type of player as Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think they're both used to being the main stars of their teams. And I'd say they're not team players, don't generate assists, and rarely combine with others. They're usually players who solve plays on their own. Giannis expects the team to play for him and Damian Lillard wants the same. First off, the Bucks won't work with their current setup. I think they can build a solid sports project though. I hear Damian Lillard wants out of Milwaukee, so that's a valuable trade asset. Thinking one trade makes you a title contender is naive. The best projects are planned over 2 or 3 years. For Lillard, I'd seek a player like Jrue Holiday, a point guard whose main strength is passing, plus some first-round picks, because building a young team would benefit Giannis too. Truth is, he's not that young of a player anymore. I think he's around 28 or 29 years old now, so he's not exactly a youngster anymore. In fact, I think this is why he wants to leave the franchise. Not because they won't win, but he feels the pressure of better teams. Minnesota, Denver, Knicks improving, Celtics. We'll see how many they win. Giannis realizes he's not even among the top 4 title contenders now. This doesn't mean they need to bring in LeBron or Curry or anything crazy. They need young talent with experience that complements him and each other. Honestly, I prefer a team with one superstar surrounded by players who can maximize that potential. The Dallas Mavericks this year are a great example of this. Look, Luka Doncic is a top 5 player, but Dallas's roster is far weaker than Milwaukee's. The difference is Dallas plays for Doncic, with players excelling both from his assists and in helping him score. That's the key difference, as Milwaukee is a much stronger team than Dallas on paper, from bench to starters. Now, some players just don't mesh well, and Damian Lillard is a perfect example of this. If we're focusing on Giannis in Dallas, personally, it's an important topic to discuss. A lot to Giannis. I think Giannis comes across as a player who craves the spotlight, wants to be MVP, finals MVP, and when he's not the best, we've seen almost childish tantrums in the NBA. He's a bit whiny when he's not the center of attention. Look, I won't criticize him for that because I think Giannis can have that ego. He's been a player who's won MVPs, he's won a championship, so he can have his ego. But I think Luka Doncic promises to be the league's best player for the next 5, 6, 7 years, being younger than Giannis Antetokounmpo and perhaps with more skills than Giannis. Because while Giannis has more physical ability and defensive strengths, Luka Doncic, without all that Giannis has, still averages nearly a triple-double, scoring 33 points per game without seeming to be in peak physical shape. People might say, oh, a triple-double like Westbrook. No, Luka Doncic is nothing like Westbrook. Westbrook was pure athleticism. Luka is pure intelligence. How he gets these rebound and assist stats plus scoring 33-34 points per game. So if Giannis wants to come to Dallas, he must realize he'd be the second best player. Luka hasn't won a championship or MVP like Giannis, but in Dallas, Doncic is highly valued. He led this team to the finals, and besides Kyrie Irving, many wouldn't start in the NBA. The starting 5 would be interesting. Having a playmaker who can create scoring opportunities for Giannis, a Kyrie Irving who can generate offense from the perimeter, and Giannis recovering those balls. Well, the truth is, it would be quite a formidable team. It's exciting to think about the possibilities, really. It feels like they'd be the perfect team in a video game or simulator. But honestly, Giannis isn't cheap, and Doncic has one of the best NBA contracts along with Tatum. Kyrie's not underpaid either, so we'll see how much Dallas has to cut. Their current success is also due to their bench depth, young players with decent salaries who can adapt to different game paces. But this would mean dismantling the whole project, getting rid of several players to bet on a superstar. To be honest, I feel these projects built around NBA superstars and all-stars aren't usually that efficient. Look at the Clippers, it's been a complete disaster. The Lakers, although they won a championship, have lost more than they've gained in my opinion. This other project, for example, I feel like I'm forgetting some, but the Phoenix Suns is another case. They've got Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Chris Paul before. Now I'm forgetting the third name, but that's not the point. What I'm getting at is that these are teams with big egos and lots of spotlight. They also go through periods of injuries, and having such a valuable asset getting injured so often would be a major problem. I think for Giannis Antetokounmpo's image and to be remembered perhaps as the best power forward in history after Tim Duncan, I believe he needs to stay with his franchise, be that historic franchise player, become the all-time leading scorer for the team, and fight to win a championship. The best players in NBA history are those who stayed with their teams and led them to success, like the case of Stephen Curry, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting any other major cases. The River, Mike Johnson too. All these players are remembered not just for being great, but for the mythology surrounding them. I believe Giannis might be tarnishing his legacy a bit. I've always said LeBron tainted his career by moving around chasing titles. It's left a sense that you need to move to contend, not that you're the one others aspire to beat. In fact, Kevin Durant's case is similar. He's been obsessed with changing teams until he joined a championship team, and honestly, his 2 years of